Okay, once again, good morning. We will go ahead and start the orientation. I cannot hear you, so if there is anything that comes up, feel free to just send it into the chat. You don't need to pause or wait for questions. I will go ahead and pause throughout the orientation, but like I said, if something comes up, just send it into the chat. Okay, so you'll see I am logged in. We have our edit content, edit special, our admin home. Got the toolbar that allows us to make these changes. So we are logged in. If you have not logged in or if you do not know how, your website or your trial site, wherever you stand, will have a little key at the very bottom left. You click on the key, and then you'll use the username and password that you had set for the website. This orientation is specific to tables and images. I will briefly go over a couple of things in case you have not found your way around. But quickly, we have the header across the top. The list of pages is referred to as a menu. So menu items, same as pages. We have our top level, which is across the top, seen on every page. Then we have the sub level that's only seen when you hover over one of these that will branch out to it. We have the body of the page. This portion of the page is actually the edit special portion, and it's because it's a specific page type. The way they work is usually you'll have your edit content, and then the special page type is edited with edit special. And below that, depending on the template, what we call the common content area may be above the footer like you see here, or depending on the template, it could be on the left or the right side of the page. We are currently looking at the most recent template. We've got a lot of room to make changes here. If you need to see anything about the template, you can go into Admin Home, and you've got that right over here on the right. This image here is the template image. We do not have a room or a spot for us to upload this. This is something that we help you with. So if you wanted to change this header image, that's something done in the template area, but it's not something that you're actually going to be uploading if you want to do a custom. Quickly through the templates here, if you select continue, the image here is selected per template. If you wanted to upload your own, once again, we would do no image, and then you would send that to us. Now back to the regular images. Any other images besides this one here would be added by you. We have stock images, or you can always upload your own. Let's go ahead and we'll go into let's go here. So this page is set up. We'll go ahead and hit edit content. You'll see we have our regular text here. We have this text organized in this table. And you know that you're in a table, you have the little white boxes around. And this is actually an image. This is not a table. So I wanted to start with images. Tables are a bit more involved, but images, obviously you want to update your page, you want to add custom pictures, or, say if you guys did some remodeling, you want to show that around, we can always set up a tour or different things. This page specifically, you'll notice this image needs to be changed out anyways. We are actually looking at, this would be more for outside of the United States. You'll see the spelling of color and just the use of kilograms. So I'm going to open up the properties for this and swap out this picture. I can either double click on the image to get this property window up, or you can right click, insert edit image. Same, you'll see this little picture here right next to the little icon. So same as if we click this image and then find the icon here, insert edit image. They all pull up the same window. Each image has an image or the properties window that will allow you to see where that image is located. The image description, this is actually the alternate text. So this text appears as you hover over the image. I'm going to hit save and show you what this looks like. But keep in mind, Google sees this as well as people viewing the site. So you'll see the text pops up like that. It is a good chance to get some good key terms in there, but since people are going to be browsing the site and reading what pops up when they hover over something, you want to refrain from just overloading it with a bunch of different terms. You want it to come across as a conversation, like you're either, usually this will be used as a call to action, or calls for an appointment today, or you could even say, let's say it was a doctor's picture. Dr. So-and-so is happy to provide veterinary care to the community of. It's a good way to get different terms thrown in there. And that's in reference to the search engine optimization. It's not something you have to do for every image, but it is a chance to up your ranking. So to swap this out with an image that actually spells color like we do and uses the pounds, we'll go into the file manager. So source shows where this image is located within this file manager. This looks like a camera, but it's a folder with a little magnifying glass, whatever is going to help you remember it. This is how we get things to the file manager. I look at it as this is a medium between what we have on our site and anything that we want on our site. So if we're going to swap this out, open the file manager, and you'll notice we actually open up to the image bank here. You have the option to upload your own, and we'll go through that later. But right now, I know that the picture I want is in Image Bank, eVetSites. It's taking just a bit. Okay. And then we have icons, this folder here. And then we have HChart, HChart LBS. And this is the correct one. So I'm going to hit Insert. Dimensions stayed the same because it was the same size file. If for any reason you need to make changes to the actual dimensions, you can either go right in here, change one dimension, click out of that box, and the other will change proportionately. You can always reset the dimensions as well. We're going to go ahead and remove that. And we'll hit OK. All right, so that was updating that one. We'll hit save. You'll see it swapped out the image. We're going to hold off on talking about these tables for just a moment. Now you can see this has actually been organized within a table, but you've got your own little images here. To add to a table, I'm just going to show you adding a row. So you select whichever row you're looking to add to or around. Let's say bathing, I want a row before this, in between boarding and bathing. So I have my cursor here in bathing. I right click, go to row, insert row before or after. We'll go over this again. I just want to show you mostly about images just to start with. But now we have a blank row. We're ready to add the next service. All right. So you'll see we've got our image, then we have our text. I have my cursor right before the text. Right click, insert edit image. Now keep in mind, in this file manager, you are more than welcome to use any of the stock images here. Very important about images, you do not want to go to Google and grab random images. You want to make sure that you have the right to this. Either you purchased it and have proof of that, or it's a custom picture, say you guys took it of your own pets, or you took it of clients there and you have permission to use. Same for, if it's on Facebook and they gave you permission to use it, you always want to double check and just be sure that you're going to be allowed to use whatever you're using. And definitely do not take any memes or little things that you find on Google. Now, image bank, eVetSites, I happen to know service icons, this is where they find all of these. we can create these as well. Same with making changes to images. Sometimes people will want a whole banner or a slide put together. Sometimes people would like a slideshow. We can go ahead and do that for you. Usually we just ask for some feedback, or if you would like your own images, we ask that you send them to us. And I'm just going to say email. So you'll see I just clicked the icon, the dimensions popped up, I'm hitting OK. But we're going to notice that it's a little different than the way we have the other one set up. So let's say service 2, and I'm just going to copy and paste a bunch of information just to show you how it's going to work. All right, so you'll notice that every other row has it set up so that the text is actually wrapping with the image. Right now, the way this is set up, the image is taking its own line. The text continues here, but then it just drops off. To actually have it wrap like the rest of them do, it's a little hard to tell because there's not too much content. But we can double-click this image, and now we will go to the Advanced tab. In the Advanced tab, the last option is Align. If you align this image to the left, the text will then wrap on the right. If you align the image to the right, the text will wrap on the left. We're just going to keep this in line like the rest of them have. So we're aligning our image to the left, but then I'm going to hit OK and show you what happens. So you see the end of your image is right up against that text. And because we have the white around the image, it's not that noticeable and it doesn't look very, very weird, but I'll show you on another page. What we usually do is in Advanced, after we set it to the left or the right, we add some space on whatever margin our text is touching. So this would be the right margin of our text, and we want to do, let's just say 10. You'll see I put 10 here, and it brings us into the style code. You don't actually have to do anything with the style code, but once you change here, it'll add it there. We'll hit OK, and then that gave us a little bit of room here. So you saw that that was getting it to wrap that way. If we align to the right, you'll notice we don't need to put our icon anywhere else. We can have it before our text and just align it before or after. We'll hit OK. But you'll notice, so we moved our icon to the right side. Our text is wrapping on the left. We left our space on the right margin, so this text is still right up against the image. So vice versa. All you got to do, instead of right margin, we're looking at having some room in the left margin. Does anyone have any questions on wrapping text with the images? All right, and just to show you, since we do not need this, we can either revert to the published page right up here, which tells us that we're working in a draft. I can either revert to the published page or right-click, row, delete row. Any changes that you make are dependent on where you have your cursor, so keep that in mind. You don't want to delete the wrong row. And I don't need any changes, so I'm going to click here. Okay. Now let's go ahead and go to the staff page. This is a page that uses both images and tables. So one thing you notice, your table starts here. You have the white blocks going all around the table. The thicker dashed line, that shows you the border of the table, the border of each row. So the way this is set up, they have one row with 2 columns, picture, bio. Then we have a blank row, 2 columns, and this is just to keep it aligned. Now, then you go to your next row. So if we were to add to this table to keep things uniform, we would right-click, insert row after, but then we're going to insert one more row, insert row after. And then this would be the next employee. If we wanted to add another column, it's the same. You just pay attention to where you have your cursor, hover over column, insert before or after. Now the way this is set up, we have a column for each. I'm going to create a new table showing you that, or showing you the same content, but in a column that contains both the image and the text. So we're going to go ahead and set up the wrap and take care of that. One thing though, you'll notice with this template, we are actually able to go from one end of the screen all the way to the other. Depending on how much content you have, sometimes that doesn't really look right because it's stretched all the way across and we get a lot of blank space in between our stuff. So we can do, so here I'm going to insert a brand new table. You can either use this drop down or you can actually just place your cursor, right click, insert table. And then from here, you select how many rows, columns. You'll see that the blue cells represent the table that you're actually going to add. And because we're going to do one row, one column, one column per staff member, we're just going to set it up to wrap within that. I'm just going to do this. We've got 3 rows, 1 column. And you'll notice that this table stretches all the way across our page. If I right click, I can go to table properties. Within my table properties, I can see that my width is set to 100%. That means 100% of whichever page is viewing it. So if it's a cell phone or an iPad, it's going to take that percentage of that page. And in this case, I don't want to take the entire width of my page. I don't have too much content. It looks a little stretched out. So I'm changing this to 80%. We need to keep the percentage, otherwise it's going to read it as pixels. And 80 pixels versus 80% of the page is a big difference. Also in our table properties, we have height, padding, spacing, our border, and alignment. Alignment, I'm going to leave that as none right now so you can see the difference in what it actually does. So when your table's set to 100%, alignment does not matter because you're not going to have it justified to either side. If I hit OK, you'll see we are now taking 80% of this page, but we have it over to the left. Generally, I will go to table properties and actually center this 80% table. We'll hit OK. Now, another thing that you see is that our text is right up against that image. I'm sorry, right up against that border of the table. If I go back into my table properties, cell padding, any number that I put here is going to be reflected as pixels. So I'm going to say 10, and that's going to give us 10 pixels of spacing, so we're not going to be right up on the edge of the table. So you'll see it kind of opened up a bit. We can't put anything within these 10 pixels because we've asked for that space. So let's just take this information. I'm hitting Control-C to copy. You'll notice you can't right-click, copy, paste. So Control-C to copy, Control-V to paste. And just to make this bio look a little longer, I'm just going to hit Control-V a couple of times. All right, so this would be our bio here. If you want to, you can copy and paste images. Once again, we cannot right-click, copy, or paste once we're in the editor because right-click is used for tables, links, and images. So you can either grab this image, drag and drop, or go back and we can select this, Control-C to copy or Control-X to cut, and then we can place our cursor right there, Control-V to paste. Now you notice, once again, our image is taking one line. We've got our text right up against the image. We've got to go into these properties, Advanced. We're going to align this to the left with 10 pixels of space on the right. Now, if we wanted to give this image a border, you have the option here. Border color, let's say something really apparent. border width, whatever we put here is represented as pixels. So 4 pixels, we hit OK. Then we got this border around the image there. You'll see we've got our space. Now, in the table below, right click, let's see, they have a blank row for spacing. So what I'm going to do is go here, right click row, into row before. This is going to be to keep the table aligned, and it's going to actually help create a little bit of space in between each staff member. I'm going to insert a horizontal line. This is going to be a subtle line just in between to help it from looking like a run-on page. You know, you get to the point when you have, honestly, anything more than 3 or 4 doctors or staff members, then you're looking at a scrolling, almost looking like a run-on page. When you do something like this, and I'll add it here too. I'll hit save. You'll see it kind of acts just like a little buffer in between all of this content. So we'd have our info here. That would separate us in between here. You'll see if we had these just listed, there's no separation. Yeah, we had the blank row in there, but this subtle little line here, it actually just makes a big difference on the eyes. Does anyone have any questions so far? I know a lot of the time the questions won't come up until you actually start digging in and messing with tables and changing things. And I just want to show you a couple different things that we can actually do with tables. Not only helping call attention to certain parts of the page or organizing information. You can actually kind of throw things off when you go in here and mess with a table. If you grab the edge of the table, you'll notice you see some numbers now. This is representing the dimensions of the table. So you'll see we are no longer working with the percentage. I'm going to hit OK. I'll hit save. And because this template's so big, it doesn't look off. But if we had a smaller screen size, because my screen is big, it's hard to actually see. But you'll see now we have a scrolling issue. And I'm going to change the template just to show you what this could do. Because we have white on our edges, it doesn't make that big of a deal. But I'm going to go ahead and go to Admin Home. Let's see, a lot of people have, let's say, this bamboo template. I'm just going to go ahead and quickly select some things. Actually, you know what? I better change a different color so you can see. All right. Back to our website. And that was staff. So now you'll see what we've done. Where we've changed this table to 1400 pixels, so it doesn't matter how big the template gives us or how much room the template gives us. It doesn't matter how big the screen size is. This table is set at 1400 pixels. So we go edit content, right click, table properties. I usually just clear this out. Height doesn't really matter because it's going to take however much room it needs height-wise. But then I'm setting width to 100%. I always like to move that. Okay. And then we'll hit OK. So you'll see it actually looks like the table got bigger. But if I hit Save Content, we're taking 100% of the space that's available to us. Now back in Admin Home, I'm going to go ahead and go back to the Plum template. Let's see this one. Okay. Now, let me show you. If we go to adoptions, you'll see this page, it does not look right, taking 100% of the page. This would be one that we would probably go in here, maybe center the title, right click, table properties. And instead of 80, honestly, this one, because we have so little content, I'm just going to do 60%. Let's center that. Okay. And even that, you'll see we've got it kind of spread out. But we'll leave it here. If we go to our doctor's page here. We can give any table a background color, a border color. Okay. Now, insert row before. Now, in this specific row, right-click, row properties. We can make changes row by row, cell by cell, the entire table. So I'm going to row properties. And my background color for this, I want, let's just say, this one's going to be white. So now you'll see that the header row for this has been changed. Now in this specific cell, I can right-click, cell properties. Now you'll see you can set the width, you can set vertical alignment as well as horizontal alignment. Horizontal alignment, left, right, center, the usual. Vertical alignment, you can actually set the content to the top, the middle, or the bottom of the cell. You can set different vertical alignments for different cells. It's a cool way to organize information or keep the page looking nice and clean. I'll show you. Some people will use this as a way to call attention to specific things, or like a coupon you can create using the table as well. So just to show you this specific cell, we're going to change the background color. So you'll see you can really just piece it apart and create different looks. But what I want to do here, I'm going to insert a table. We'll say 2 columns, but I don't want it to stretch all the way across my page. I'm going to go to my table properties, and I'm just setting this to 50. We'll give it a cell padding of 10. And then you'll see it's adjusted over to the left. We want table properties, center. Okay, so let's say table properties. We'll say border, let's give us 4 pixels, and the color for our border, we'll say white. Okay. Okay, so, and here you can't see our text, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is just change it to white while we're in here. New client offer. Let's say we want this bold, we want it centered. Insert edit image. Let's just take a look. And like I said, you can either upload your own or you can take a peek at what we have. Image bank, eVetSites. All of these different folders have content that you are more than welcome to use. Like I said, be very careful just pulling things from the internet. It's best to use what we have or something that you have permission for. Even if you want to give us a call and say, hey, I'm not sure where this came from, better to just ask. Later down the road, it could end up with a nasty email saying that you owe someone. So let's go to, let's just pretend we have an offer for Frontline here. You'll see my dimensions are pretty huge. I'm going to leave them there just to show you. The table will take whatever room it needs. I'm going to leave that there. This content you'll see is in the center. I'm going to hit save. So we have our new client offer in the center here, and then this image is taking all the room that it needs. The reason we still see the green around it is because we've got our 10 pixels of space. Now if we hit edit content, I'm going to get rid of this table, delete table. Now, right-click Cell Properties. Let's say I only want this content aligned to the top. Move it right up like that. We'll hit Save. That's how it works. Now, I know we're going through a lot here. Are there any questions, or are there any changes that someone might want to see done in front of them? Say, I'm working on a staff page. This is the issue that I ran into. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's go to our doctors. Actually, no, we're on our doctors. We'll go to our staff. And I want to show you how to edit images once they're already in. So this image here, right-click, insert edit image. You can find the image in the source, in the file manager. You follow the source. You'll see we have a little check mark next to this image. If I right-click, I can edit the image after it's been uploaded. You are more than welcome to you're more than welcome to edit the images before you upload, but if you've already uploaded them and you see it's fitting a little weird or you need to make some changes, you have the edit option here with all of these different changes as far as filters, but the biggest ones that I use would be resize, crop, flip, or rotate. With crop here, we can move this, and then let's just say apply, and then we hit save, and then you just give it a different title to save the different image. But this is what we've done here. Resize. Let's say we know that we want our width to be 200. Apply that, save it, make your changes here. Another thing that you can do, we go table, insert table. And you know what, we'll go ahead and do this in our footer. This is how we've got this set up here. We're going to clean this up and organize it. If we go to our admin home, administration, footer content. Oh, maybe we have it in our common content. Common content. So you'll see we've got this information sort of free floating, but then we've got a table here. You might notice there's another table here. So we're going to go ahead and go into our footer, start from scratch, and we're going to set up a few different tables. So we're going to do this within a table. So insert table. First, I want 3 columns, and I want a little more room to work with this. I don't want my content right up against the edges. I'm going to table properties, and I'm going to say cell padding of 10. All right, now here, right-click, insert edit image. Table. And let's say we're going to put an hours table here. So let's say we want our day, open and close. And let's say we've got Monday through Friday in the first one, Saturday here, Sunday here. So, and actually we can go before the table, hit enter, and then we'll say hours. Say Monday through Friday, Sat, Sun. We'll just say, and I'm going to do this very briefly. Okay. Then we'll hit update. And just to do this quickly, I want to show you, so contact us, view larger map. I'm actually going to embed this Google map into our footer. So I'm going to hit share. embed map. And if you guys need any help, or if you guys like the way this looks or like the idea of this, we can help you embed the map anywhere else. But over here, I'm going to add another table so I can add my map. Oops. Okay. Now, with the way that Google embeds the map, I have this source, or I have this code that I'm going to paste into the source code. You open the source code by finding this little icon, or you can go to Tools and then Open Source Code. I'm going to scroll down to where I see the word map, and I'm just pasting over this. Like I said, it is working with source code, so if you need a second pair of eyes on it while you're doing it, if you'd rather us be on the phone, just give us a call. So width, I'm changing my width here to 300, and I've done this a lot, so I know that I want to bring my size down. Google actually gives you a pretty big map to embed when you leave it as is. So I'll leave that at 250. I said okay, and then let's see here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this. I'm just copying this content just to fill this so we can see. Now here I want another table. Oops. And you will see that once I paste my information, the table takes whatever room it needs. So now I've got all of this stuff centered. Hit update. And then you'll see that things are a little off. What we can do is, one, we don't have to set this all the way to the end. We can go back in here, change the width. So we can either change the width of this entire table. Let's say 80%. We want it centered. Okay. You know what? I think that I did the wrong table. Yeah. So I'm going to just click here. Table properties, 80% center. Okay. And then we're going to hit update. Once we're here, you see that we still look a little off. So what we can do is we can give this center cell a greater width than the others, and it'll fill up more in that center one. Footer, click here. Cell properties now instead of table properties. Width, we're going to set this to 50%, and the others will basically take whatever room they need. And honestly, this is not centered. So something I'm going to do, when I'm working with source code, I'll do something like put a bunch of 4s or a bunch of Ks, anything that's going to stand out in the source code. I want this centered though. I'm going to use this to help me center my video. So, I'm sorry, my map. I go to source code. I'm looking for all these 4s. That's my flag. And you'll see we have p-text align center. I'm just going to keep that for my map, and I'm going to get rid of this stuff here. Now I'm going to have this iframe centered because we have our p-tag centering it. And I know that might have seemed a little techie, a little confusing just because it's source code, but like I said, we're just a phone call away. And then another thing you can do, let's see, footer. Let's say we want another column. Oh, wait, let's see here. So as you have the text here, it'll open up. You'll see it looks kind of compressed. You just need to get your cursor in there and start adding content. We've actually got this extra column. But you'll see we didn't really clean up the table. We just organized the content itself. A lot of the times people want to bring a Facebook feed, so we might have, Facebook feed embedded here, and then our map, our contact info, our hours. It's really up to you and where you want the content or the information. We usually let people know it is good to kind of streamline information if someone's, especially if someone's working on their mobile phone, they might just be looking to see how to contact you, when you're open, where you're located, those quick things. So a lot of times tables can help us keep content organized and easy to find for everyone. Close this up. Now, we have talked about I'm sorry, I don't think we've practiced uploading our own images. Let's go ahead and do that. Right now we've only been working with the stock images. I know I've said it, but I'll say it just one more time. We need permission to use whatever we're adding to our website. You'd rather just be safe than sorry. Trust me with this one. I mean, it's quite a shock if you get a nasty email saying you owe thousands of dollars. So just avoid it. Get pictures from us a lot of the time. And one thing that not everyone is aware of, we have our stock images here in this, but then we have a whole bunch that we don't actually have uploaded to these folders. So let's say you're looking for a pocket pet slide, or let's say you want a banner that tells people you help, you provide care for reptiles, or anything that you might want to call attention to, but you might not have a good picture of. We might not have them in our folders here. Give us a call and say, hey, we're looking to have, a special or call attention to this, and we're wondering if you have any stock pictures of iguanas or fish, whatever it might be. It doesn't hurt to ask, and if we don't have it, it might be something that we could get based on your feedback. So, like I said, whether you need help, with a banner or even just finding good images to swap out on the page, just give us a call or let us know what you're looking for. But if you have your own image, right click, insert edit image. In the source field, you'll see we don't have anything. We're going to our file manager. We have not uploaded it here because it's in our computer. We still have to upload to the file manager. So we go upload, and then from upload, once it loads, we have add files. Add files will allow you to either drag content here. I'm sorry. Add files will allow you to browse through your computer. You can also drag files here. Say if we had our desktop open on the right side here, we can just drag and drop. But let's just, it's a beautiful picture. We'll do this one. And you'll see it stays at 0% until we hit upload. Depending on your screen size, I have heard in the past that some people don't see the upload button. If you have a smaller screen size, you might have to grab the top of this and just slightly drag it up so you can actually click this. The reason it stays at 0% is because you have the option to continue adding files to upload. So I usually just upload one at a time. We'll hit upload. We want you to go from 0 to 100. Then we hit close. Now we can insert this or that image. I'm going to go ahead and leave the dimensions where they're at. It's going to be really huge, but we can resize it. We'll hit OK. And now you'll see that we've got this image at its original dimensions. We can click it, bring it down, and you'll see the images work almost like the tables where you're going to see the new dimensions down there once you start moving. Does anyone have any questions on uploading their own images or finding stock images? So I know that we've gone over a lot. Tables, there is so much that you can do within a table. You can, like you've seen, you've got the borders, the backgrounds. It really helps to just organize a lot of like lists, services, or hours, things like that. But it can help create like an artistic element to the page. You'll see that this coupon was basically created just using table and text. You can call attention to the middle of the page, or let's say the bottom of the page, almost creating like a almost like a footer, but that wouldn't be on every page. You can also set up other, let's see, some people will like to do tours. Right now I'm going to create well, let's see what this page is. So we've got this test page here. We have nothing on it. I'm going to show you adding a slideshow. We have a slideshow page type. Some people like to do tours either using a slideshow page type, or they might want to build it within a table and basically just show reception, exam room, treatment area, whatever it might be. But right now, if we wanted to create a table for our tour, this is going to be quick. So let's say, reception. Oh, whoops. Reception, treatment, place center these. And then you would just add your image. Just like that. And then you would continue filling that in. I'm going to hit save here and close this. So we would have our images going across. But in Edit Special, to set up a slideshow, all we got to do, it's actually easier to upload here. All we do is hit Add New Slide. You give it a title. I'm going to say Show Title so you can see what that looks like. We're going to choose File. Now from Choose File, we're going into our computer. So let's just get these poisonous mushrooms. I'm going to create a slideshow. And let's see, Title 2. Choose File. Let's say, we're just going to do this to show you quickly. So if this was our tour, you can either have it set up so that they automatically play for them here, or that they're listed just kind of in a table view. Now if we go to Edit Special, we have slideshow settings. Width, we can change the width on the images. If you think there should be less time or more time in between the slides, you can do that as well. But justification, the black represents the black block represents the slideshow. The black lines represent the content. So if we want our content and then our slideshow, we just got to switch the justification. You can change how they change in between the slides. I'll hit save. I'm going to close this. You'll see we've got a bigger image now. All right. Now, once again, I know we've gone through a lot. You can really kind of dig into this and build up a lot of questions. But if there's anything now, I'm going to go ahead and stay on for a few more minutes and take any questions. It looks like, Sherry, you might be the only one left in here. If you'd like to make any changes to your website, I'd be happy to talk to you now. Thank you, Sherry. Can you please type the title of the trial, the trial site? I'll go ahead and look it up, and maybe we can take a quick peek. All right, let's take a peek here. Oh, awesome. This is looking good. One thing right off the bat, you see how we've got our text right up on our border of our table? Let me go ahead and get logged in here. I'm going to show you how to fix that quickly. And I'm just trying to get the login stuff here. All right. And thank you for your patience. I'm just getting the login details. All right. Now, to fix this, we will go ahead and, yes, I do understand. Tables can be they can be confusing. A lot of the times we'll just set them up and then you really just kind of plug in the information. Don't let it be a headache at any point. If you have an idea and you know you'd like to either add a table or maybe organize something using a table, just give us a call and say, this is what I was hoping to do. What do you recommend, or can you help me do it? Sometimes people want to actually learn how to make the changes. Other times they just say, hey, here's what I want. Can you please take care of it? Whatever's going to be easiest for you. We know that a lot of times you guys don't have the time. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Sherry. I went ahead and just made a quick change to that. But as you guys start making more changes, if there's anything that you feel you'd like to walk through, or maybe you and I can tackle it together, we don't have to wait for an orientation. You can either call in, or we can actually schedule a one-on-one if you've got some ideas or like a list of edits you want to work on. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and stay on for the last few minutes here. Sherry, if there's anything I can work on for you now, feel free to just send it in the chat. Otherwise, I'll just kind of be hanging on for a couple of minutes, and I really appreciate your time today. I do know that we did cover a lot, so if you start making changes and anything comes up, like I said, give us a call before you get frustrated. A lot of the times it's something that we went through or we went over and you don't want to call because we talked about it. That doesn't matter to us. We'd rather get things taken care of and have you all set. Well, even though the site's not live, we can fine tune it if there are any staff updates or design ideas. I really like the logo that you guys have there. If you guys need us to do anything as far as cleaning things up, just let us know. Other than that, I would say definitely review the content on the page. It looks like you've already done that, or at least made some changes to the text. I always let people know services. It's important that you do want to include all the services that you provide. Make sure that you aren't listing something that you don't provide, but also any areas that you provide care for. If it's anything outside of your immediate town, it's helpful to have that sort of information listed on the site. So as far as getting ready for going live, I would just say review the content, make sure it's easy to understand. A lot of the times, this is awesome how you've got the bulleted points. Maybe do a couple bullets for your services that you provide. I do know people are sort of moving away from the very text-heavy websites. Have the text there, but we'll keep it clean and then link to those pages if they need to find that content. Okay, awesome. Yeah, sounds great then. As you guys start making more changes, just feel free to give us a call and we can help you take it live, or we can help make any other changes. Ask away, Sherry. Sherry, did you have another question? So about using the memes on Facebook, I I see them all the time. I sharing the images. I don't necessarily think it's a problem as long as you're not really advertising or using it as an advertisement. Hold on one moment and I will double check on that. Thank you for your patience, Sherry. So the question was about using memes on Facebook. So it's not an issue as long as it's not used on your website. Facebook is more of a kind of a personal thing and you're not really advertising or using it to your benefit. If you got it on your Facebook, I would not take it from there and put it on your website. But Facebook, between your friends, that sort of stuff is fine. Great question, by the way, Sherry. Thank you. That's fine, Sherry. A lot of the times, people will use little cute cat pictures or something funny, whatever it might be. It's mostly when you're looking at it, like if you're presenting it like this is our creation to promote our business, something like that. As long as you're not doing it that way, you're totally fine. Awesome. Great question. Thank you, Sherry. Is there anything else that I can help with while we're still here? Sounds great. Thank you very much, Sherry, and anyone who else might be lingering. Thank you for your time. Like I said, we don't always need to schedule an orientation or have it in this the webinar. You can always give us a call with any questions. Thanks again and have a great day. I'm going to go ahead and end the orientation now.